Techthusiasm living room home theater vlog number 11. This might be, is it the penultimate episode? The next to last episode. It is time for the audio setup. These boys, these Focal Utopias, don't drop the speaker, are finally going in. We're going online. We're gonna hear these babies sing in the room. It's been 6+ weeks to get to this point. Most of it dedicated, of course, to the physical work, and we knocked out the video connections, the video chain validation elements, and all of that in the last vlog. This one is going to be all about hooking up the audio side, getting the Focal 1000 Utopia LCR modules connected up with the IWSUBs, getting them in these channels, these big old 67-inch tall channels in the wall, getting this stuff wired up back down to the rack where the NAD M23 amps are. We're going to bridge those 2 amps, run them as monoblocks, run these Utopias and the sub modules as basically monster full range speakers, and we're going to fire it all up. These speakers have been sitting in the basement the better part of the year, something like whatever it's been, I don't even know, 10 months, 11 months to get to this point of the project and finally make this upgrade and get these things running. All right, phase one, we got to prepare these cables. Now, when we pulled these through, we did certain lengths of speaker wire to get to the spots where the speakers would go. They go down to the rack. They're just kind of hanging down from the ceiling. But we didn't make any exact calculation for like how much speaker wire is like necessary to get to the speaker. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to measure these out. We're going to pull slack down to the basement to get to about the top of the opening in the wall. Realistically, I think they're going to end up connecting about the midpoint, but just in case we ever change something out or heaven forbid something else changes, we'll have enough speaker wire slack to be able to get there. So we're going to measure this out. We're going to pull the extra slack down to the basement. We'll cut the longer remainder ends off down there and then work on getting the first of these modules wired and in.
Yup. Continue pulling. Keep going. That's touching the top of the thing. That's too much. That's good. Yep, next one. All right, some more.
So all the speaker wire is coated. Got red and green on the right, clear or no tape, and what's over there? Yellow.
Yeah.
Yellow. So we're going to use green. No.
Green and no tape for subwoofers, red and yellow for speakers.
No, we're just doing the speakers. We're just doing speakers. So we're going to use red and yellow. And then these other ones, I'm just kind of tying them up. They'll just sit nicely in the bottom of the shelf. So I think next we need to install the first subwoofer. All right, so we did the first one off camera just to kind of get the process. I think we have it down minus one thing that I'm a little unsure about, but we'll check in on that after. So looking nice. Fits so good, massive stack. So let's do the left channel. So we are gonna run the speakers as just a full range single unit. So we don't need both runs of speaker wire that we pulled. So just in the interest of keeping things clean, I'm gonna tie up the unused pole speaker cable. We'll leave it in the bottom of the cavity, and in the future, if we ever decide to use it, then we will have it. So use my trusty Velcro strips like I do for pretty much everything, all the cables. And this is the yellow one. So we know we used red on the right and yellow on the left. Next up, we'll get the subwoofer in. All right, so step one, to connect these modules up together. All of these have basically top and bottom overlaps and side-to-side overlaps. So when they fit in the wall, that goes over the front of the wall. But depending on how you're connecting the modules, in this case, we're gonna put the speaker above the subwoofer. So we have to take off the top of the 2 brackets. If you're gonna stack a whole bunch of these, up together, we'd have to potentially take both brackets off. But we're gonna remove the top plate of the subwoofer and the bottom plate of the speaker. Nothing special to this, just a Phillips head screwdriver and the 4 screws. And it comes right off. This is where I'm actually confused about the modules going together, because according to the pictograph in the instructions, it actually tells you once they're together in the wall to put one of these back on, but it has foam on it, so it doesn't sit flush like it would if it was only a single module. So I'll have to debate on that, but now this is good to go. I should also mention, actually, when it comes to the settings and the options of the subwoofers, a couple things. They do have a speaker terminal on the bottom, and they do have a speak-on connection. The speak-on is how the modules get connected to each other. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 jumper cables on the bottom here. If you're connecting a ton or a bunch, or I think 3 or more or something, of the IWSUB modules, you move these over to a higher impedance setting. In this case, we're only using 1 subwoofer module, so we'll leave them at the 8 ohm setting where they are. There are speaker terminals here. We're not going to use those speaker cable terminals. We will be junctioning into the main speaker itself, and we will not be using the speak-on connection at the bottom because the subwoofer module has 1 on each side in case you need to daisy chain multiple subwoofers to each other. One other thing we need to get, we got to put the spacers on so that the speaker sits nicely on top of the subwoofer. All right, so the spacers just go right on top here. They have these little felt pieces. They're basically, they don't have any specific orientation. They do come with the screws, of course, for these. The screws go through, the thread in the hole right there, and you do get 2 different Allen wrenches. I'll cut my finger. Cut my finger on the box. You do get 2 different Allen wrenches with the subwoofer assembly. So one of them is sized for the spacers. Get that nice, whoops, get that nice and snug. And the other one is sized for the brackets that hold the speaker into the wall. So nothing to it, just one of these on each side. They sit nice and flush down inside there. And the speaker won't actually get screwed in to the spacer of the bracket. It just rests neatly right on top. Awesome assistant here to get this in the wall. Come on over, lift this speaker cable up. And again, we're putting the subwoofers in the bottom so that they have basically boundary reinforcement with the floor. That was at Focal's recommendation. I think the camera might not have fully caught that as we wanted it to, but in any case, the subwoofer module is in the bottom, again, for the boundary reinforcement with the floor. We'll just drape our speaker wire right over top of it. I'm going to cinch this in a good bit, and then we'll set to connecting them to each other and getting the speaker wire wired in as well. This takes a while. This is like the signature the signature pain of the 1000 series is over and over and over again. The turning and turning and turning and turning and turning of these screws to set the brackets inside against the back of the wall. Takes a long time. I'm not going to bore you with every single one of these. Suffice to say, on the big Utopia LCR, there's a lot of these screws. So we just snug it up and do a top right and a bottom left to get it in position and hold it. All right, let's get these wired together. So I just stripped and prepared the speaker cable, just going bare wire connections for this and on the amplifier side as well. No banana plugs or anything like that. And we do have the speak-on connection that is going to link the subwoofer to the speaker module itself. So these guys have kind of a funky little twist and click. All right, and then this guy similarly, just got to get the right angle. Boom, get the click in there, and then as I did on the other side, we'll tie this cabling up. And then over here, we do have a couple things to note, actually. Two sets of speaker connectors. These are bi-ampable. That's what I'm actually doing down in the theater. But one of these is labeled as bass input. One of these, which is the one I think on this side here, is labeled as the main input as a full range speaker. That's where we're going to put it. So this jumpers the connection to here. Internally, it jumpers through the speak-on connection to the subwoofer. Of course, red and black. And we have our cable denoted with the blue stripe for the negative, black, and the no stripe for the red positive. These are just spring tension clips. Need my glasses. Definitely due for a much brighter set of lights as well, but gotta make do as we can. There we go, right through. Nice pull for tension, and then the first one's easier than the second one. There we go, and through. Nice and tight, nice and snug. Ready to go. Now we gotta lift this thing up in there. Oh, that's what I did last time too. God. That'll cover it up. So we are connected, all online here, down in the rack. Just a quick view from the front, of course, we have the Anthem STR preamp driving the living room setup, and then those two M23 NAD amps underneath there. And I am running as the monoblock. Again, we did the Utopia LCR and the IWSUB modules, speak-on connected as single full-range speakers. The amps are bridged. Learned a couple things about bridging the amps in the settings that actually kind of surprised me and changed a little bit of my setup configuration in the process. But we're running the amps bridged. So far testing and everything has been fine. So we'll see how that goes, how that works in the long run. But again, one M23 per monster speaker upstairs. Let's take a look around the back. Okay, there of course is the rear of the Anthem STR preamp. Up above there is my sources, the Kaleidoscapes, Apple TV, stuff like that. And we have here the STR. This cable here, this is the optical audio cable coming down from the television. So I don't use HDMI, eARC, or anything like that. The STR preamp in its current incarnation doesn't even have an HDMI input, unfortunately. So we go optical out from the TV down here. It's a 2-channel setup anyway, and an optical audio cable is perfectly capable of carrying PCM 2.0, basically lossless 2.0. So nothing really lost without when you don't have multi-channel needs. Now, interestingly, I had automatically defaulted or assumed that I would be using XLR connections between the Anthem STR preamp and the NAD M23s underneath it. However, if you notice, I'm using RCA cables. These guys right here, 2 coming down, the front left and front right. So according to NAD's instructions, when you do bridge mode on these amplifiers, you are not actually supposed to use XLR cables. You're not supposed to use balanced connections. So no balanced connections here. Ended up going with RCA. Kind of worked out for the better. I didn't actually have, I thought I had a bunch of okay length leftover XLRs from the home theater side of things. I didn't. I had 5-foot cables. Obviously don't need 5 feet of cable to get just from that STR down to the NADs, but I did have 1.5 foot RCA cables. And these are world's best cables, Mogami 2549 wire, stuff that I generally use and prefer for this type of cabling application. So they basically tell you, NAD tells you in the bridging configuration to set your inputs to the SE, basically to the unbalanced RCA side. It tells you to set the gain to high, so I don't have to worry about what's the best gain setting for the amps in the bridge mode. You're just automatically supposed to set it to high. And then there's a little itty bitty switch. Actually need like a paper clip or something to change that switch, probably for the safety of your equipment. That switch goes up. By default, it's off, of course. It goes up to put it into bridge mode. They have a specific RCA input here. You input on the left channel, audio input left or bridge mode. And then when you're doing the bridging stuff, and I think this is pretty common for bridging type setups, you actually use a combination of the two speaker terminals. So we don't just connect to one set of speaker terminals or the other. Underneath, it's probably hard to see on the camera, but it does tell you at the bottom, bridge mode, class 2 wiring, and it connects the negative terminal on what is the right side, or the right channel, which is the left side looking at it from the rear, and the positive terminal on our right side, which is the left channel of the amplifier. So I had to split my speaker cable pretty far to get this kind of like looped out connection to be able to get into both, and essentially did the same thing on try to get these cables out of the way on both amps there. So you can see the cable coming in and looped out. Again, we use the red, the one we labeled as the red for the right channel upstairs, the one we labeled for with yellow as the left channel upstairs. And my convention usually is always, if something is on the left, it's on top. If something's on the right, it goes on to the bottom. Now, so then we have the speaker cables kind of coming in and supported here down through the right hand side, and we're plugged into power way down below on the watt box, one of the watt box 820 units down at the bottom of the rack, dedicated for all of the amplifiers. So the two M23s and the two M28s from the home theater and the MDX16 are all plugged in to the watt box that's plugged into the wall, not the one that's going into the UPS. So one other thing that I actually overlooked in this whole thing, if you notice, I have here there's only one trigger output on the STR. Unfortunately, I wish there were two discrete outputs, so I had to use a little Y adapter to get two triggers. Unfortunately, the NAD in your infinite wisdom, please have a trigger output on your amplifiers. Everything that has a trigger input should have a trigger output to relay that signal to the next thing down in the chain. But alas, the M28s do not have trigger outputs. They only have trigger inputs. When I was going through my stuff to get my cables out, I discovered I only had one complete mono audio cable. So I ordered a couple of them from Amazon Friday night. They'll be here tomorrow, which is Sunday. And I bought shorter lengths as well. This is longer. This one here is longer than it needs to be. That'll give me the ability to trigger both amplifiers off the STR using the Y adapter properly. I could use the auto sensing feature as well. Maybe I'll even give that a little bit of a shot, but in any case, the triggers are going to be far more reliable than anything auto sensing, and I definitely prefer reliability wherever and however I can get it in my system. Here we are, one final look, one final shot for this vlog, and these speakers are just insane. They look so awesome in here. I don't even want to put the grills on. That'll be an activity for a future step. For now, fully content to kind of leave them off as they kind of break in and we get everything going and working. Just love the presentation. It's insane to walk up to it and look up to see the top of the tallest driver. And that will mark the end of vlog number 11, the audio setup and installation. We are now complete, video and audio complete. We have a usable and functional living room home theater entertainment setup again. Very nice. The next vlog will be calibration. Spoiler alert, I've already actually run some Arc Genesis calibrations on this. If you notice, I'm wearing a different shirt. We did the audio setup Friday night, but there was some lingering cleanup and some other things and some extra cal that I did here on Saturday. So we're wrapping up this vlog from Friday into Saturday. I did kind of just a quick cursory calibration. I want to play around with Arc Genesis a little bit more. There's some things also that I kind of need to maybe learn or figure out exactly when it comes to doing Arc Genesis without any subwoofers, specifically in the configuration, since this is just basically one massive mega full range speaker now. But we will break that down in vlog number 12, and then probably there'll be even a lucky 13. I think vlog 13 will probably be the finish of the project, and maybe in 13 we'll talk about the grills and just the finishing touches and any fit and finish. I'll add another little spoiler alert, something that was different from the last vlog you watched, number 10. I was debating what to do with the Nintendo Switch. Well, we solved that dilemma today as well. So I have here a Nintendo Switch 2. Just can't go without the Nintendo stuff. As much as I complain about some elements of the way they do some things, and run their business, and how I wish Apple would just buy them or they would just put their stupid games out on PC. I've been playing Mario since 1984, and I got to play me some Mario Kart World. So my son and I stopped in. We picked up the Switch 2. There's no way in the world that we can do all of this upgrade, get this system to the level that it is, and plug a paltry little 1080p Switch 1 into the system anymore. So maybe we're even talking vlog 14 as we introduce the Switch into the video setup as well. We'll see. Maybe we'll just keep going and get on to the next upgrade. I still got to put that fan, replace that fan in a new place on the PC. But I digress. So I guess long story short, what I'm saying is stick around because we got a few more things to do here, including a ton of cleanup down in that storage room. Hopefully tomorrow the trigger cables come in as well. So I got to finish actually buttoning up the final elements of the wiring and all that. So yeah, we're not done. Who am I kidding? But thanks for sticking with me. Again, I hope you find all of these vlogs fun and informative and entertaining. We've added a little bit to the video production and how we're recording and how I'm doing them, working a little bit more with my son, kind of with a cameraman and a gimbal and stuff like that. So I think there hopefully is a more of an interesting watchability factor between, particularly in vlog 10 and 11. And I appreciate the effort my son had put in. Actually, he got the instruction books out for the gimbal. He's finding all this cool stuff that it can do. So hopefully you liked a little bit of the production value and presentation, particularly of these last two vlogs. I hope to bring more of that to future content as well. So I can't end without saying, if I can help you with your home theater setup, if I'm inspiring you, giving you ideas, introducing you to concepts and setup thoughts and other things like that, please let me help you in a more direct way, one-on-one. Let me advise, consult, give you my advice, lend my experience, lend my ear. And in conjunction with all of that, if, again, you're finding value in what I'm doing here and inspiration and so on, I would ask you to bring your business to me. I'm a dealer, reseller, integrator for a whole bunch of audio and video and home theater brands, including many of the things that I really like and enjoy and use in all of my systems. Vocal, the TV brands like the LG sitting here just off camera to my side, Kaleidoscape, JVC, Panamorph lenses, Seymour and Stewart screens, SVS, Denon Marantz, and I've even picked up some other things that I don't use, but I know folks really like Epson projectors. I can do Sony as well. So reach out. I have access to a whole lot of stuff. I have awesome partners and everything to get access to even more things that I may not be able to offer directly. But please reach out, Jeremy at techthusiasm.net, or go to www.techthusiasm.com. My dealer info and business information is there, along with a contact form, a more complete brand listing, and all that. But even if you're interested in something, you don't see it in the brand listing, reach out. Give me a chance to try to serve you first. I would very much appreciate that. If you'd like to help me in a more simpler way, I've got affiliate links to all kinds of stores down in the description of all my videos, as well as on the webpage, Amazon, Target, Walmart, eBay, Audio Advice, Crutchfield, apparel stores, and more. Please use those links in your regular shopping. Click Add to Cart and finish your checkout. Doesn't cost you anything, but it's a big benefit and boon to what I'm trying to do here for you. All right, welcome everybody and appreciate it to the channel members or any of the super thanks, PayPal, and Venmo tips that folks leave. Always, always much appreciated. Please do the regular YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, share the video, and leave a comment. I don't know, what can you say? Leave a comment. What do you think? How does it look? How does the system look? How do you think it sounds? Spoiler alert again. And we played some music in here. We've already been warming these things up today. It's immaculate. I'm super impressed. So we'll be talking more about it as time goes by. Come on back for more home theater discussion and fun.